eThekwini Mayor Cyril Xaba has just addressed residents on the ongoing water outages and other issues that have plagued the city of Durban and surrounding areas. Newzroom Afrika's Nobuhle Modise attended the briefing and joins us now live. Nobuhle, you were part of that briefing. What were some of the key takeaways?
Good afternoon, Hugo. So the mayor has basically highlighted what interventions are in place in order to deal with the water shortage. And just to take you back as to why we are sitting with the water problem at the moment is because there had been some pollution that has taken place in the Nagel Dam and Albert Falls Dam, which is the feeder to the treatment plants in the city that essentially then provide water to the city's reservoirs. And now that particular dam or those dams have been polluted with sewage, as well as some industrial factors as well, and this is why we saw algae in the water. Now this particular algae has then blocked the filtration systems of the Newzroom system, and this is why we are sitting with a water shortage, because those blockages then kind of slowed down the flow of water from the treatment plant to the city's reservoirs. And now the city is saying that in order to mitigate this, they've done a number of things. In fact, not the city, but the water board has said, when we spoke to them earlier this week, because we have been following the story, Hugo, when we did speak to them earlier this week, they did mention, the kind of systems they have in place to ensure that, this is dealt with. But also within that, we heard the city mayor speak to us about, how far this issue has gone and what kind of interventions are in place. Let's take a listen to what the mayor had to say in terms of the ministry, in terms of the Water and Sanitation Department being involved.
We are now seeing an improvement in the water levels in our reservoirs in some areas. Our technical team has assured us that they expect the situation to return to normalcy after 5 to 7 days. We appeal to residents who are already receiving water to reduce their consumption to help the system to recover fully. As short-term measure, we have deployed 228 water tankers in the northern areas, and we will continue to supply water to affected customers until the system fully recovers. As we have indicated, prior to this challenge, eThekwini had its own water supply problems, which we are currently tackling. As a result, every Friday, we are meeting technical teams from both the city and the Uthugela water to get update on water infrastructure projects that we are implementing to address water reticulation challenges. I've extended this meeting to include councillors who will be clustered into groups according to their geographical locations, so that timely information will be shared with them. This will ensure that they can communicate the water situation to communities, including water tank distribution.
Now, as you heard there, Hugo, those are some of the interventions that the city has undertaken in order to deal with the problem of water. But there's also, a lot of unhappiness from residents in the city of eThekwini with regards to communication and how, the city has not been communicating adequately with regards to how they're going to sort out this issue. And also the issue of water tankers, where if you go into areas like KwaMashu and you ask people whether they have seen any water tankers or that's where they're receiving their water from, they're saying the presence of water tankers is sporadic. You see one water tanker a day, or you don't see a water tanker at all. But we do know that Uthugela had said that they'd also, commissioned around 20 tankers at their own cost to the city to be able to ensure that those people who are without water as a result of the current shortage are assisted with regards to water tankers. But as you've heard there's a number of interventions that they have in place, and more water tankers will be distributed into those communities who are affected, like Phoenix, KwaMashu, as I've mentioned, Inanda, and parts of Durban North. And this is what the mayor had to say in terms of mitigating the current issue of water shortage in the province.
While our technical teams continue to be hard at work to find permanent solutions, we are pleased that there has also been an intervention at the highest level of government through the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Ms. Phemi Majodina, her Deputy Ministers, David Mahlobo and Selo Setlolo. This demonstrates the level of commitment from all spheres of government and Umgeni Uthukela Water Board to resolve this challenge as a matter of urgency.
There you have it, Hugo. The Ministry of Water and Sanitation under Phemi Majodina is also making sure that it's dealing with this issue at present. Back to you, Hugo.
Well, before we let you go, you did speak to some reaction from members of various communities, particularly around the water tankers. But is that confidence that the new mayor will deal with some of these issues that obviously have bedeviled KZN for many, many years now?
Indeed, we do know, Hugo, that the city of eThekwini has been on a downward trajectory for a number of years now. And you would remember that raid that took place earlier this week, where the mayor himself, together with the premier of the province and the provincial police commissioner, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, went into the city centre, a very notorious area, the point area, and where a building was raided, and around over 120 undocumented foreign nationals were arrested. Drugs were found there as well. And some people are saying that, ever since this GPU, if I may put it that way, has come into play, there are some things that are changing in terms of the rubbish being picked up timelessly. Street lights that haven't been working for years have now been fixed. And this water situation, you would have heard the mayor as well speak to the fact that there were current projects that were underway when the issue of algae came about just about 2 weeks ago. So there are some differences that we are seeing, from a city that has been on a downward trajectory. And we can only hope that the new mayor, Cyril Xaba, will continue with that wind of change and ensure that the city goes back to its former glory.